host, Brandon Hilder.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to The Opening Act, a podcast interview show where we interview musicians and more. I hope you're all having a wonderful day. Today is an extremely special day because our special guests hail from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. That's right, they are Mechanical Canine. Today we will be interviewing the two members, John and James of Mechanical Canine. There's a few more members, but that's who we got with us today. And before we kind of go off and get into this interview, we're going to go ahead and give a little listen to one of their songs real quick. This song is American Dirt by Mechanical Canine.
I don't want to talk about talking, 'cause that's boring. And I'll send by you that you're gonna break that chair by rocking, and that's what it's supposed to do. And I believe in that, and I'll die on that hill. 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 It's not a far walk home, but it's just far enough, and I'm sweating through my favorite shirt. You need a boogeyman to blame for all this stress, because otherwise it'll hurt, and I'll feel like American dirt, and it just feels 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 like American dirt.
Woo! Doesn't that song just kind of get you started on a good mood right there? Woohoo! Yeah, that is a pretty good one, if I do say so myself. Yeah, if you're interested in that song, that'll definitely be in the link below. Now, without further ado, here is Mechanical Canine. Would you guys mind introducing yourself? Maybe say what instruments you play and what other things you do for the band?
I'm James. I play guitar and vocals, and I do the production and recording and all that jazz.
James writes the
I also write the songs.
I'm John. I play bass. And I book the shows and the tours and put the records out with the label and stuff.
Very, very nice. So, before we kind of get off into some of the richer questions, for the people who have been unfortunate to not discover you guys quite yet, could you please tell them a little bit about Mechanical Canine, like what you guys are all about and stuff like that?
We're an emo band, but I mean, I think we're also just a punk band. We play fast, and we care about ethics.
Very, very nice.
Yeah, we so like all of our music is available to download for free on our Bandcamp. We try and keep our merch and our records cheap. We only play all ages shows because I think all ages stuff is a really important aspect of the what DIY should be standing for as a whole.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. And like the only playing all ages show, that's awesome because a lot of the shows in my area are 21 up, and I'm like getting Facebook invites to go watch. I'm like, guys, I'm only 18. I can't go watch a 21 and up show. Come on. So that's really cool.
That's the exact thing. Like I started going to shows when I was like 14, 15, and I remember how much of a bummer it was not being able to get into 18 plus shows, let alone 21 plus. Like, and it sucks. So we hardly ever play bars because of that, but it pushes us into a lot more interesting places like a laundromat we played, or like pizza shops, or a bookstore.
You played in a laundromat?
Yeah. There's a laundromat in Columbus, Ohio that does shows that we played at.
Yeah, they don't do shows anymore though.
Oh, dang. That's freaking sick.
What was that? Sorry.
So that's freaking sick.
Yeah, although there's a new owner, and I don't think the new owner likes all of the holes in the walls created by the. So
that's funny. They're not as cool.
that no longer exists. But if you are listening to this and you own a laundromat and you do like punk rock, we can play it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man, that needs to be a thing in like every city. Just all of the little laundromats, if they have a owner that likes music. Yeah, that's wow. It's brilliant. I know, like, I think it was the laundromat in my town. The guy who owned it also liked doing tattoos, so he also did like a tattoo parlor in the side of it, so he could just also open up a little backstage.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Put your laundry in, and then you can get a tattoo while you're waiting.
Put in the laundry, go get a tattoo, listen to the music while you get the tattoo, go ahead and get the tattoo of the band, and you get a special discount because the band's playing. I think we just created a business.
You can do that thing where you have someone sign your arm and then you go get the signature tattooed because you don't have to wait until the next day.
Yeah. Wow. There you go. That can be like a whole little package, like $150. Get the signature and the tattoo. I don't know, whatever. However much tattoos cost. I've never had one. Oh, that's funny.
Take out the middleman and just start bringing the tattoo gun on tour.
Oh man, I'm ready to like see you guys like have a website and that be like the very front thing on the website saying, "Come get your tattoo at a show near you." Oh boy.
By the way, I'm just gonna say there is a gigantic German Shepherd mix sitting here with us, and he's panting. So if you hear heavy breathing in the background, that's what that is.
Okay. So you already said what kind of genre you guys are going on in. How long ago did this project start?
So we started in late 2017. I don't know when this is going to be broadcast, but it is currently May 9th, 2023. And we played our first show 5 years ago today.
Oh, wow. Congratulations on the anniversary.
Thank you. Yeah. It was exciting when I saw that on my time hop this morning.
Wow. So I guess we'll ask that question. Do you have any memories from that first show, or was that too long ago?
No, I remember that show pretty well. We were playing with friends of ours bands, Harmony Woods, who's really good. You should listen to them, and Sandboxing. They're also great. We were freshmen in college. We were playing with a band that was on tour called Michael Sarah Palin.
Wow.
They've gotten a lot bigger since then. This was like a tiny show in this, what was that place?
It was called Greenhouse. It was like some college kids that were like renting a storefront and like just like running shows out of it. And it was cool, I think, until the kids running it realized that like it had to be like self-sufficient for them to be able to afford rent, and there just wasn't enough money to go around to keep the place open, so it was very short-lived. Yeah. And I think they also had trouble with full volume. So
yeah, I think we might have been the first and only full volume show they had.
Yeah.
Wow. Man, just imagine if they did the laundromat idea, how long they would have been able to keep open for.
Yeah.
Wow. But really, 5-year anniversary, that's way cool. So since then, how many shows have you played? Would you estimate?
Give me a second. I can pull up the exact number.
Can you really? Wow.
Yeah.
Let's hear it.
It's somewhere around 125.
Wow. That's pretty good. So we're talking average on like 25 a year.
Yeah, well, so it's 116 that we've played. But we also played 48 of those last year. Like we didn't play very many shows in the first couple of years of our existence, and then COVID happened, so we only were able to get started touring as much as we had always wanted to post-COVID.
Yeah, dang COVID. But you guys are back, and you just got back from your spring tour. In total, how would you say that tour went?
Oh, it was a lot of fun. Our friend Nick Mongelli, also known as Nape Mango on the internet, came on the tour and played keys. So it was the first time we had toured with a keyboard player, first time we really toured with a keyboard player. So that was really fun. It was cool to change it up a little bit. It was like probably the most like highly anticipated tour we had done, I think, as far as like it felt like more people were at the shows on purpose.
Definitely, yeah,
than ever before.
And that's something that we've noticed with each tour as we go along. Like we'll come back to anytime you're touring, you know, you'll play a city and someone sees you, and then the next time they like bring a friend, and then the next time they bring a friend, and then after a couple times there's like a pretty good amount of people at your show. We're playing some of these cities for like the third, fourth, fifth time now. So there's like James was saying, people coming out to see us on purpose. So yeah, getting that, seeing all of that happen on the tour in real time was rewarding. It might have been the longest we were on by like a couple days, but we did another one in the fall that was a very, very similar length.
Yeah. So in total, were all of your expectations met for this tour?
Yeah, I mean, we broke even and then some, which is always a big help. I don't know. As far as expectations, that's the main hurdle, is not losing money.
Yeah, and it was a good mix of shows, like, because they're, like everyone loves like a packed house show or just like a crowded show. So like we had a good number of those, but also we had a lot of like really fun like midweek shows where we'd pull up and there'd be like 9 people there, but like all of them would be like super engaged, because it's real easy to like it's real easy to get to know everyone in the room if it's a small crowd. So we got like a good mix of both, which like I sort of prefer it that way. Like I feel like we probably are able to make a bigger impact the smaller the crowd is. But then also, like, if we were only playing to rooms of like 10 or less people, we wouldn't make enough money
to stay on board.
So you need like a few shows that like really pop off, but it was fun. It was a good time.
What was the biggest audience you had at one of your shows this tour?
Biggest audience might have been Richmond. We played a house show there that was just packed. It was like to the point where people were standing like outside of the door to the basement, packed all the way out. I think that was probably the biggest show. That show that we played in Bradenton was pretty full. Bradenton, Florida. It's right outside of Tampa. We had also gotten like a really good live recording at that show. The sound person was like, "Hey, I can record your set if you want."
Oh wow!
We'll be doing something with that eventually, probably.
Wow. Yeah, that's surprising that you say that the that the house show had the biggest audience because, kind of like when I think of house shows in my mind, I'm thinking like just kind of a smaller show where it's just like the band in the basement, the friends there, the whatever there, just everybody kind of there. But for that to be the biggest show, that's actually really impressive. That's really cool. Yeah.
It depends on the scene, really. Like, in some cities, like in Philly, for example, like house shows tend to be way more packed than bar shows, just because like house shows tend to be more relevant to like the trends of the music scene. At least as it relates to what we do.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, in some scenes, like if you're in a place where like there's like a really good like all ages like DIY spot that's not a house, or just like a good all ages venue in general that people like to go to, that people feel comfortable at. A lot of the time, like, yeah, the house shows will be smaller just because for obvious reasons you want like the biggest shows to be at a place that isn't a house if possible, because it's probably safer.
Yeah.
But I mean, in Philly, it's like not an option because it's almost impossible to have an all ages show. It's very hard for a place to be all ages in Philly because they have to decide between selling alcohol or being all ages, and like, the alcohol sales are what keeps places afloat, so they go that route.
Yeah, the liquor laws in PA are super strict and old timey.
Yeah, the Quakers shouldn't have said that.
Yeah. So, out of all the cities you guys played in, I was looking at your list. You guys played some pretty cool ones too. Like let's see, one of the ones I saw on Facebook, I believe, was Birmingham, Alabama. That's a pretty, like different city than Philadelphia, in my opinion. Like that's a pretty cool place. Which one was your favorite city to go visit?
Well, it's funny that you mentioned Birmingham specifically, because I think that was one of, if not the only places on this tour that none of us had ever been to, Alabama. And that venue was super cool. It was an old firehouse that was turned into a DIY space. And it's the usual Gilman Street kind of clone thing that you imagine, like spray paint and stickers all over the walls and everything. It was a super cool spot, and it seemed like a spot that everyone in town knew it was like the place. We also played there on Easter Sunday this year. So that was cool just for the novelty of it. Chicago's always really nice to us. Iowa City is great to us. St. Louis was good, but the last couple times have been kind of weird. I don't know. What are some other cities that like us?
Pittsburgh.
Oh yeah, Pittsburgh's great.
Akron,
Ohio. Yep.
Yeah.
Those are all spots we really like playing.
Now, I want to go see you guys in Pittsburgh. I love Pittsburgh. I've been there once, and I am dying to go back.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it is like, I think, my favorite city I've ever been to. I mean, I can't say I technically have been to Philadelphia. I've been in the airport of Philadelphia. But, I mean, my mom and my brother have been in, like, full-on Philadelphia and all of the parts of it, but I haven't. But I definitely want to go out there.
What had you in Pittsburgh?
So in Pittsburgh, let's see. We just kind of went out to Pennsylvania for just kind of a fun little family trip. But we're all really into baseball, so we went and saw a Pirates game. At one point in the trip, we went down to Cleveland, saw at the time, Indians game, now Guardians game. Let's see. Then we went down to Hershey, and really the main reason for the whole trip was down to Hershey for the Green Day concert that was back there in 2021, I believe. Great concert.
Yo, we were there.
Yeah, we were there.
No, you weren't. No.
Yeah, that was my birthday, August 13th. We were there.
Ah, that's wild.
Yeah,
Yo.
that's crazy.
What's your favorite baseball team?
My favorite team is the Oakland Athletics, but my close second is the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Okay.
Yeah.
The
That's so
Athletics
funny.
Good, right?
You guys were really at the Green Day concert on August 13th. That's wild.
Swear to God, August 13th is my birthday, and I've only ever seen Green Day on my birthday or the day before my birthday. So when that show was announced, I was like, I've got to go. We were the back left general audience. We were right up on the barricade. So there was the regular GA, and then all the seated stuff, and then the way back GA. We were in that.
Yeah, I was in the middle of the seated section, kind of like, like directly in like center of the stage, but just like way back.
All right.
Yeah, that's where I was. That was the best show I've been to ever. I mean, obviously.
You were
Man, that's wild. We were actually probably like within not a football field even. We were probably within just a few hundred yards of each other. That's funny.
Yeah, definitely.
That's
That was
funny.
a great show. Green Day always puts on a great show.
Yeah, they really do. But I do have to say, the lines for that concert were nuts. Oh,
Yeah.
those are some
yeah.
of the longest lines we've ever stood in.
And when it
Plural.
rained beforehand, and they made everyone
Yes.
I was just about to say that. Yeah.
That's how you know we were there.
Yeah, that's so funny. Yeah. I remember like being there, getting ready to go in, then it starts raining. We're sitting in the car like, holy crap, this better not get canceled because we just spent like $500 on tickets and all the stuff to go see it. And
Yeah.
No,
Wow,
that was
small world.
great. Yeah, that was such a fun concert. Anyways.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say, if you ever find yourself back in Pittsburgh, the place that we always play is a spot called the Mr. Roboto Project. It's a DIY all ages venue. It's a super cool spot. The folks that run it are the best. It seems to generally have a lot of familiar faces there. Like it's a crowd of regulars most of the time. If you ever get the chance, you should totally check the spot out.
Okay. If I ever get to go back to Pittsburgh, I definitely will. Fingers crossed.
Cool.
So, in this question, most of these questions are going to be for both of you, but if you feel like only one of you apply, go ahead and just answer it. But when did you guys discover your love for music?
Do you want to go first, or?
Yeah. I would say for me, what it was is my parents are both baby boomers, and they grew up they both grew up sort of at a time where parents were, I think, a little more hands off with their kids, and because of that, both of my parents wanted to play instruments when they were kids, and they just didn't get the opportunity to because they just weren't really encouraged, and their parents never really had the motivation to like sign them up for lessons or anything like that. So then my parents like made a decision when they had kids that they were going to be like really proactive about just like signing us up for things just to see how we liked them. So I started playing piano when I was 5, and then we had like we had a cool band program at the schools that I went to growing up. So I played the saxophone in the school band, and we had like a jazz band that I was really invested in. And I guess I just it just kind of became my thing. And then I started a band when I was in 8th grade. And like we were like not too young, but we just didn't really know how to like find places to play. So we kind of just like practiced for hours in my friend's basement. And over time, I just sort of like became the guy that was in charge of all the recordings. And then I just sort of, once I started getting into like sound engineering, I kind of was just trapped. And it just kind of became the thing I do. But I guess, yeah, it started with just, I think, my parents really encouraging it from a young age. And then obviously like the like structure and discipline from like middle school jazz band, I think taught me a lot about sort of how to go about like just sort of arranging and getting all the ducks in a row. So yeah, that I would say mainly those two things.
So when I was a kid, my dad's always been like a big music guy. He's told me that when I was in my mom's stomach, he would like put headphones on her tummy and like play music. So I've kind of just always been around it. I started playing bass when I was 9. I had a band in middle school and early high school. I went on my first tour when I was 16 because I had some friends of mine who were a little bit older than me that were in a band that was going on tour. So they just brought me along to run merch for them. I kind of always fell into that role of booking shows and I don't know, the more like behind the scenes mechanics of being in a band. So both of us just kind of fell naturally into those slots when we started a band together.
Yeah. How did you guys like find each other for the band?
Facebook.
Yeah, we both procrastinated finding a roommate freshman year of college. And then one of us made a post in like the new students. I made a post in the new students group being like, hey, I don't have any roommates. Anyone else not have any roommates? And one of them was James.
Yeah, really what I was looking for was I wanted to live with another musician because I wanted to have a roommate that was understanding of like my need for space to put my gear. And I figured if I lived with musicians, like there would be no issues with that because we would all be trying to do the same thing. And that's exactly what happened, I think.
Yeah.
We all just kind of put our gear together. Yeah, exactly. But then I was like, okay, this guy seems cool. So.
Yeah, that's really the extent of it.
Yeah.
Cool.
But I mean, I guess, do you want to know like how we ended up starting the band or?
Sure.
Is there more to the story than that?
I guess not really. I think like probably both of us probably I feel like there was like a point where I like told you that I wanted to start a band and you were like, yeah, I'll play bass, but like it probably like didn't really even need to be said. Like I think both of us just like we're gonna be in a band regardless, and it just like, you know, it kind of worked out perfectly that we were roommates and like had like aligned interests and goals and both like very willing to play like different roles in the band to cover up responsibilities. It kind of just like it probably didn't really even need to be discussed. It probably would have probably would have happened regardless.
Wow. That's funny. So, what was your guys' favorite bands as teenagers?
When I was a teenager, I've always been big into Green Day. I guess like the later half of my teenage years, Against Me probably would have been my favorite band. James?
Growing up, my favorite band was The Killers. And then as a teenager, I think it was probably Modern Baseball.
Wow.
Probably later half of my teenage years, but yeah, Modern Baseball was probably my favorite band.
You guys just named like maybe not. Well, no. You guys just named my top 3 favorite bands. Actually, that's funny.
No way, really?
Yeah, Green Day, The Killers, and Modern Baseball.
That's probably why you like their music.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Okay, that's real funny. Because you know the song "Voting Early" by Modern Baseball.
Yeah.
That lyric, "I'll bike 17 blocks down Haverford Avenue to buy a case." We live on Haverford Avenue between the Modern Baseball house and the beer distributor that he's talking about. The Modern Baseball house is like 2 blocks down from us.
What?
Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy. Did you guys ever go see them in concert when they were still doing stuff?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I saw them a few times just when they were touring, and then I went to all 3 farewell shows because those happened right after we moved to Philly.
Oh, that makes me jealous. I know. I'm one of those fans that just kind of got to the race a little bit late, you know, but it's okay. We can still enjoy the music.
Yeah, no, I mean that's the crazy thing with that band is like they are like so much more like well known now than they were when they were active, and it's the kind like their music is just like universal to all people in their teenage years. Maybe not all. To half of teenagers, it's universal. And like, and so, as long as their music is out there, and it's accessible for people, like teenagers are just gonna keep finding it. And it's like, it's really funny, like, for us as like people that like were teenagers when they were like active and touring, just because it's like, because now like we like, I'm always hearing like current teenagers say like, "Oh man, I missed the chance to see Modern Baseball." Yep. But I mean, that's like one of the coolest things about emo is that like all of like the sort of like most iconic emo releases over the years just like always get rediscovered by the same group of kids every year. It's like kids are just gonna keep finding it, and it's never ending.
That's funny. So I guess you could say I'm the class of 2022 for Modern Baseball discoveries. No,
Exactly. Yeah. It's really cool because it's like, you know, like I'm sure like you like related to what they were saying in a very similar way related like, to what they were saying when you were in high school.
Their music is like just insane on how many ways you can relate to. It's like, it's weird. It really, really is. Yeah. It's crazy.
And specifically like the fact that like, you know, like the first 2 albums that they put out were like more like juvenile in a way. Third record, so like I related to the first 2 records a ton when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And like up through like my college years, and like now like I'm post college and like now like Holy Ghost like speaks to me in a much more direct way because I'm like in that stage of my life now. So that's an awesome band.
For whatever reason, Sports hasn't quite like kicked to me yet. Like I haven't quite like I respect a few of the songs in that album, but I haven't quite got my love for that album quite yet. But like, and I'm not even kidding. I think the lock screen for my phone is "You're Gonna Miss It All," that album cover. Like I'm not even kidding. It literally is. But yeah, it's funny.
I think another testament to how great that band is too is like basically every fan has a different opinion on what their best release was. It just speaks to the quality of everything they did.
Yeah. Well, I'm kind of basic. I just really like that second album so much, and then also Holy Ghost is a really good album too.
And James and I have talked about this before, but I kind of like being able to flex on the up and comers of the emo scenes, being able to be like, yeah, I saw Modern Baseball in like a 500 person club. Like that's, even if it's a reunion, that's never gonna happen again. Like I remember downloading the leak of Holy Ghost a few weeks before it came out.
But then like since we live in Philly, like
no one wants to hear about Modern Baseball.
Yeah, but it's also like a thing that like people will talk about how like they saw Modern Baseball at a house show, and like people pretend that like they knew at the time, and it's like you didn't know that this band was gonna blow up. Like I love that band so much.
And people who have not heard of Modern Baseball that are listening to this right now, just look them up. You won't regret it, right, guys?
Yeah, do yourself a favor.
You probably won't regret it, but I mean, I don't know. I think there's probably a lot of people that like if you're like our age now and you missed the boat back then, it might be a little harder to fall in love with them the way that we did. But
it's like those people allowed to watch SpongeBob when they were a kid, and when they watch it as an adult, they're like, I don't get it. This isn't funny.
Yeah.
Like I think with Modern Baseball, you have to have that experience of like kind of growing up with it.
That's true. Like I first started listening to it pretty heavy when I was like just turned 17, and so I mean I was a teenager. So if you're a teenager from the ages of 16 to 18 and you haven't heard Modern Baseball, there you go. You'll get hooked.
We have a band.
Start with the classics. I don't even know. I know I'm one of those people that I do love the classics of bands, but I also really love the songs that not many people listen to, just because when I listen to it, I'm like, wow, I'm on this secret that nobody else listens to. That's just how I am.
Oh yeah, deep cuts are fun like that.
And anything that you discover as a teenager is just going to mean the world to you. So
yeah, it's like how Dashboard Confessional was to me. That's like another one of my favorite bands. I discovered them as a teenager. I mean, I still am a teenager, but I discovered them like 2 years ago, and I was like, oh my goodness, what is this band? Wow. Like I remember when I heard about listened to the Killers for the first time. It's just all those bands that I discovered in my teen years, and the Killers, I discovered them when I was like 14 or 15. I was a lot younger, but I love them all still, and I don't think I'll ever stop loving them. But yeah, for sure. So, being from Philadelphia, how do you guys think this has shaped your music at all, if it has?
I don't think it's shaped our music necessarily. I think it more shapes the scene around us and how the music is perceived. Because when we first started playing, I feel like there were a lot of people starting emo bands. It doesn't seem as though that, because we still live kind of close to campus. it doesn't seem as though there's as many emo bands on campus these days, but it definitely felt like the thing to do then.
Yeah, I mean there are some.
Sure.
There are definitely some younger emo bands in Philly, and some really really good ones too. But yeah, when we started, it was like everyone we knew. Every band that we knew was an emo band, basically.
I feel like it's the exact opposite out here. Everybody is in a metal band out here. It's weird.
Oh yeah,
I can see that.
All of the bands out here are just like hardcore metal, and everybody's like Metal Montana, metal rock news or whatever. We have all sorts of metal things out here, and I'm like, where's the punk rock? Where's the emo rock, guys? Then everybody at my school is like, emo stupid, emos. I'm like, whoa. Like, don't hate on emo music unless you've listened to it. Come on. 'Cause those are all the kids that listen to country. I'm like, shut up.
I mean, I think you're gonna find, no matter where you go and who you know, you're always gonna have to defend yourself for liking emo.
Yeah.
I mean, even in Philadelphia, where everyone was in an emo band at one point, like you still have to defend yourself. So.
Yeah. Yeah. That's just how the world is. Everybody's gonna hate all types of genres if it's not theirs. So I saw that on Fire Hazard Records that you guys have some vinyl for sale. How does it make you feel to have your own vinyl records for sale? And I also noticed that this vinyl that you have is not your first vinyl that you've ever had, but also it's still cool that you have another one. How does it make you feel to have vinyl?
Yeah, so the first time we got vinyl, it was definitely a surreal experience. It wasn't something that I ever thought I would have from any of my own bands, you know.
Yeah, I figured it would be way too hard to do.
And then even when we got them for the first record, I know the both of us thought that we were going to have boxes and boxes of those in our closets for the rest of our lives. But they're all gone now. Those records, the first LP, like it's out of print. So that's also a great feeling. We pressed 250 of those and they're all gone. So we did 500 of the new record.
How many of them are left?
And we got, what's up?
How many of the new ones are left?
We've moved about a quarter of the copies.
Wow. So it might be time for me to go buy one then.
Yeah, you can get one through the web store, or I should mention, if you've got like any local record stores, there's also a color variant that's exclusive to independent record stores. So if you or anyone listening has like a record shop in town that you like, if you go down and you're like, hey, can you order the new Mechanical Canine record, please? They'll be able to get it for you. Or you can get it through Fire Hazard Records. Both have their own color variants.
Wow. I also saw on Bandcamp you also have them for sale, and also I noticed, including shipping, the prices of your guys' vinyls, and this is also something we said a little bit earlier, but we're like way low, which is cool because I'm just getting into, vinyl record collecting, and I'm like, oh wow, all of this crap is extremely expensive. And then I'm like, if they're more than $25 to $30, I'm not even gonna look at them because come on. So it's like, it's cool that you can get them with shipping on those websites for like $20. Like, that's way cool.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Our thought when we did that was, we saw what the per unit price was, and we were like, we could sell these for $10 at shows, and we don't make a ton per unit, but we make enough that it keeps us on the road, and we have enough money to keep purchasing more vinyl and just other merch. So it's more like we're like putting our money into the vinyl, and then once we sell them, we just get it back and buy more.
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
I mean, we're not making any money off of it, but
we're also not losing any money.
We're not losing any money, and the point also was, when we go on tour and we're playing shows out of town, usually if we're playing a DIY show, there's like this responsibility that people feel to do whatever they can to support us, because that's just how a good music scene works. People just want to do whatever they can to make sure the touring band feels comfortable in their city. And so we thought, like, well, if we sell vinyl for $10 and people are looking for a way to help us out and they see that the vinyl is only $10, they're going to be like, oh, okay, I'll buy one of those. And then they have our record and they'll probably go home and listen to it at least once because, like, what the hell, you just bought a record.
Yeah.
I should stress that, like, we don't make any money off of the vinyl, but, like, we also don't make any money off of anything in general. Like, we have day jobs and we work those to get by, and then we save up our money and go on tour. And I think having those two things be separate, like, allows us to sort of do things the way we want to, because there's no financial pressure for us. If we reached a point where we could quit our jobs and just play music, I think all of us would.
Oh yeah.
But I think the safe way, like, mentally and financially, to go about being a touring musician is just to accept that it's a losing venture and make your income elsewhere, and then that allows you to really do things in a way where you're not walking over any skeletons to reach your goal, because the stakes aren't that high. We're not gonna go hungry if the band has a bad show. So
yeah, and that kind of brings up a point that I really can't stress enough. People listening, if you ever find yourself at a concert where there is some smaller bands, and I'm not saying they have to be like garage bands, if you find yourself at that show and you have a spare $20 to spend, go buy a shirt. Because, like, really at the very end, all you got to know is you're helping them get more music to you, and by doing that simple little deed, it's going to help you be happier in the end. So that's just kind of my message to the listener. Buy the shirt or buy the record that's $10 or whatever. It's like, and I've spent, I'm not going to say way too much money, but I've spent a lot of money on things at concerts, and, I've never regretted it, because I know, especially when it's like some smaller bands, like there's this one band I went and saw them at concert. They were opening up for 311. They're called Teenage Wrist. I bought a t-shirt of them, and their lead singer was like, oh, yo, thanks for doing that. Let's get a photo. I was like, wow, that was cool. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Little things like that.
Kind of different.
Yeah. And like, usually your favorite band usually your favorite band is, if you're into punk rock, your favorite band is working their asses off at some awful job in between tours in order to be able to do it.
It's true.
So like, not many people in punk rock are wealthy.
Yeah.
At least
unless you're Green Day.
The people that Green Day is very wealthy, but the people that stick with it for a long time usually have to work a day job to be able to keep doing it, and so you're like, even the bands that may seem really big and successful, that, like, from the outside. If you saw what their operations were like on the inside, you'd realize money's tight. So
Yeah. Like, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of the punk band 10 Foot Pole. Have you guys heard of them?
yeah.
So I actually got the privilege to interview the lead singer of 10 Foot Pole, Dennis Jaggard. And, 10 Foot Pole is one of this just amazing punk bands. And they have so many good songs and just, they're awesome. But you're absolutely right. He's still working a job. Yeah, I mean, yes, his job is being a sound guy at concerts, but it's still a job. He's still doing it to make money to support his band. And when I was talking to him, the bands that he would go do sound were like Jimmy Eat World or Weird Al Yankovic or things like that, like still pretty big bands. But it was like, wow, this guy's still working a job just to make music for me, the listener. It made it that much more special and makes me want to go buy a record from him even more. I'm gonna spend too much money on records, guys. Ugh.
I mean, I don't know this person, but I'm sure like it's not easy to work the way he does, and then also have to put just as much energy into the band, because I know that's hard on all of us. So it's really like people do it for the love of it, and it's hard to it's hard to find the energy a lot of the time, but yeah, that's why what you said is a great point, that just buy a t-shirt. It's gonna mean a lot to the band, because that money's going straight to the gas tank.
So let's talk a little bit about the song American Dirt. That was the very first song I ever heard from you guys, and I don't even know where to start with this. Like, very first time I listened to it, I was like, wow, this is interesting. I really like this. And it ended up being one of those cases where you play it again. And like, I think I played it 3 times until I got a good idea of what it was like in my mind. And then I went and listened to more of your guys' music, but that's how I was introduced. So let's talk a little bit about that song. What is that song about, if you feel comfortable sharing that?
It's not like a super specific, it's not a super specific thing, but I guess the point is just like the feeling that our existence and our way of doing things is wearing things down, and no one's able to do anything about it.
Wow. Yeah. So let's see. And then that song also came from the split EP that you guys did with Precious Little Life. What memories do you have from recording that EP?
I remember right. I was going through a really bad breakup at the time, so I don't remember a lot of it. I played bass for Precious Little Life, though, and I do remember that because we recorded bass and drums and guitars live, and then guitars got re-overdubbed. We didn't use any of the live guitars.
I don't believe we did.
But I remember that live session because it took us a really long time.
Brian from Precious Little Life is just a fantastic drummer. So I actually, you may have felt like it took long, but from the engineer's perspective, I was like, this is going perfectly.
Oh, wow. Okay. Do you remember anything from like recording our house?
I mean, no, not really.
It was right.
It was a long time ago.
Yeah, but it was like right as we were finishing up the LP, the new record. So I feel like it kind of got swept up in that.
We kind of paused on recording the. Yeah, we sort of paused on working on the LP to work on the split.
Okay, so you like took a break, then kind of did that. Okay, I get that. Cool. Then when you guys finished that up, I saw on Facebook, and yes, I was stalking your Facebook. No, but
That's why.
but yeah, if you didn't want me to look at it, it wouldn't be on Facebook, right?
Exactly.
And I noticed that you guys did do kind of a release show for it after that all went down. How did that release show party thing go?
That was the show at the Pouch, right?
Yeah, it was kind of a last second thing, so we didn't have much of a chance to promote it. I think it was a show that like was already booked, and then but the singer from PLL, Kev, they lived at the house at the time, so they were like, hey, what if we throw PLL and Canine onto this show and just make it the release show. So I mean, it was a pretty regular show, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, that's
Sorry,
so cool though that it happened though.
Yeah, I wish that was more exciting.
It's okay.
I think the LP release show was probably a little more of a grand event.
Yeah, that was a tour kickoff. We recorded that show. That was a good show.
Wow. Yeah. So while playing, and we're gonna kind of talk about live concerts now because that is like the best part of music, right? So while playing live shows, what have been like just the absolute most wild things to happen, whether it's the audience doing it or a fellow bandmate or whatever? What's been the most just wild thing to happen during a concert?
One time, our drummer Jamie knocked over a cymbal because there's just like a bad cymbal stand, and it got knocked over while they were playing, and it fell directly on my guitar cable and sliced it in half.
Oh yeah, that was crazy.
What?
There was a time where we were playing a show in New York City, like on Manhattan in this guy's apartment. And I don't remember how it went down, like if it was originally planned to be full band and then he got cold feet or what, but we showed up with the expectation of playing full band. And then when we got there, he was like, yeah, I think we're going to have to do it acoustic. And we had already like lugged all the drums in, and we were like, okay, no, we're doing this full band. And we went like digging through his room to find a cable to like jerry rig a mic to an amp because we didn't have a PA. We wound up using like, I think like some kind of headphone cable on an adapter to get the mic to work. And we just blasted through our set. I remember every time he would come over and be like, you guys need to turn down. We'd be like, okay. And then just keep playing faster to try and get it over with. That was a wild show. We went walking around like up through the hallway and stuff while the show was happening, and we couldn't hear anything. So we thought it was fine. And then afterwards, we found out that his neighbors came and confronted him, and it was very not fine. So that show was something. Do we have any other particularly good stories?
I mean, I'm sure if I thought about it for a while, yes, but not that I can think of at the moment.
That is okay. So
I probably have a memory from each show.
Yeah,
but, that would be a different podcast episode.
Could be a lot of episodes.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and discuss your most recent album, Walls Covered in Mildew. What was the inspiration behind this album? If you can pick one.
Mostly about health anxiety in general, but mainly that. That's sort of the major theme. I guess as far as inspiration, like Hekra was a band that I was really into at the time. Captain Jazz is one of my favorite bands. Godcaster, the band that used to be from Philly. They live in Brooklyn now, I think. But that was a band that was very influential. So.
Yeah. So is there anything else you'd like to kind of share about this album?
I don't know. I mean,
this is the time to promote it too.
I guess it's definitely like a very like synth heavy record, which is different from everything else we had put out before.
I did notice
and
that. Yes.
I don't know. There's a lot of like production stuff that I did over the course of I guess like the first half of 2021 that like, and then I took a long break from working on it, and then when I came back to it, I was kind of like, oh, I didn't realize I did all that stuff. So it's definitely like a very like dense. It's a densely mixed record. There's a lot going on. I think it does a good job of showing like sort of like how eclectic our band is as far as the risks we're willing to take musically.
Yeah, I guess the only thing I have to add is what I had said before about you can get it down at your local record store. This is the first time we've had like big boy distribution for our music, so like having stuff in stores nationally, internationally is very exciting. So I like plugging that whenever I can.
So how many of these records are actually available to the stores?
So there were 100 of the indie record store variant pressed. Actually 107 because you get a little bit of an overrun when you press vinyl.
And that's like the cola bottle one, right?
Yep. Those are Coke bottle clear. There's 107 of those. Last I looked at the warehouse numbers, they had 74 left.
So even down in Montana, I could probably get one. Cool.
Yeah.
Just got to go talk to them. Too bad that's like an hour and a half away. I might just have to buy the one off of one of the websites.
Yeah, there's a color variant that's exclusive to the label too.
I really do like that color.
Yeah, that one turned out neat.
Yeah. Colored vinyl, they're really cool. I know some people don't like them, but I think they're pretty cool. So with the Walls Covered in Mildew album, I just wanted to say I have listened to this whole album a couple times, and my favorite song actually is the first one on it, Walls Covered in Mildew. I really liked how that song sounded, and I don't know if that's like the song that you want people to like from that one. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't, I don't know, but that's the one I was finding myself listening to again and again, and that would be kind of my recommendation to people who want to listen to that album. I mean, really just listen to the whole album, but hear it out. But yeah.
I don't know that there's any songs that we would say we don't want people to like.
Really. Yeah.
But I will say that I don't know that I've had anyone tell me yet that one's their favorite.
Yeah.
So that's cool. It's always neat to hear a smattering of opinions. Same deal as like the modern baseball thing. Talking about how everyone has like a different opinion of which record is the best. I feel like I'm yet to hear a solid consensus on which track is the favorite on this record.
Yeah. Maybe in 10 years, but let's just hope you guys aren't like broken up. But like maybe in 10 years, it'll be like this thing where it's like Emo Central, all of the greatest albums from all of the great bands, and I'll show like the best track on this album right now. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, last few questions if you guys have a few more minutes. We're down to the
Yeah.
final, like, probably 2 or 3. So, what is your guys' dream band to share the stage with?
Sorry, run that back.
What is your dream band to share? Can't speak. What is your dream band to share the stage with?
Dream band to share the stage with. Is this dead or alive?
Sure. It can be both.
Operation Ivy.
Yeah, Operation Ivy is what I was gonna say. Playing like an original Operation Ivy show, that would be nuts.
Or if they did a reunion.
Yeah. Failing that, if I had to pick an active band, I don't know, Green Day or something
Yeah.
would be cool.
Jeez, yeah.
Against me.
Yeah, that'd be quite wild to open up for Green Day. I know the band that opened up for Green Day at the concert we went to, the Interrupters. I actually saw them again in Montana. And, yeah, they asked the crowd if anybody's seen them before, and I was the only person that said yes. It was weird.
Oh, yeah, the Interrupters are great. I saw them at Warped Tour back in, like, 2016, and there was no one there for their set.
Ugh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
I love them. They're so good. I actually bought a record from them, too.
Yeah, they're a lot of fun.
They're so cool. They're such a fun band. Ska is cool. I play the trumpet, so if I was ever to like get serious with a band and like actually try being in a band like that, it would definitely be ska.
Do it.
For sure. Oh, yes. I've had offers, surprisingly. I haven't taken them up, though. I might need to. Okay.
You should.
Yes. Okay. Now, it's one of these questions. These are all the questions that, they're weird, but if you had to be a fruit, what type of fruit would you be?
If I had to be a fruit, I don't know, one of the bad ones, so I don't get eaten. One of the melons that people don't like.
But like,
Yeah.
if you're a fruit, probably wouldn't you want to be eaten? Like, isn't that like because like whenever they like portray like food in like a cartoon or something, they're always like really excited with something.
No. Did you ever see Sausage Party?
I guess I haven't. No.
They don't like being eaten.
Fair enough.
I don't know. I guess that's my garbage answer.
A melon. Okay. Now, this is kind of the signature question of the show. So, this question is from my favorite TV show, which is Chuck. If you were on a deserted island and could have one sandwich with you, what kind would it be?
I'd have a boat sandwich so I can get off. No.
Wow.
I don't know. Probably PB&J.
Okay. What about you?
I don't know. Probably like some sort of like eggplant, like eggplant parmesan, something like that. Or like a chicken parm. I could do that too.
There you go. Pretty solid sandwich.
Mm-hmm.
Well, guys, that is the end of all of the questions I have. Now, I'm going to turn the mic over to you if you have anything else you'd like to say, any more questions for me or anything at all.
I don't know. I don't have any questions. James?
Go Celtics.
Oh, boo.
Go Celtics. Ooh.
Smart man. I guess all I have to say is plug in the record again. You can pick up the new album Walls Covered in Mildew from us or your local record store or on Amazon or whatever. It's on LP and CD, and you can get it on cassette from us. We hope to play Montana eventually. We are on a quest to play all lower 48 states. So we're going to have to play Montana sooner or later.
Yeah.
We've also got T-shirts on our Bandcamp. I think that's all I've got to plug for us.
And I'll put in some links if you're cool with it.
Yeah, by all means, please.
So like listen to our friends' bands. Like I mean, we already said like Sandboxing. And
Yeah, listen to Sandboxing, listen to Precious Little Life,
Harmony Woods,
listen to Harmony Woods, listen to Constant Headache.
Yeah, listen to Stand and Wave.
Yep.
Rigby Picnic is our lead guitarist's other band.
Yeah.
Who else?
Trying to think of more friends to shout out.
Forget anyone. If you're our friend and we forgot you, we remembered as soon as the podcast was over, so I'm sorry.
Anyways, thank you guys so much for being here. It was a great conversation, and I hope you guys had a lot of fun, because I know I did. It was great getting to hear about you guys, and yeah, thank you so much for showing up, and yeah.
Yeah, thanks for doing the interview. Hope we can see you at a show someday.
I sure hope so. Hey, if you ever come play Montana, just text me. I will come
You'll be
watch.
to hear about. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. Well, with that, thank you so much for being here, and I hope you guys can have a great rest of your day.
Yeah, you too. Take care.
Yep, take care. Bye, guys. Okay, everyone, thank you so much for listening to that episode. I really hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. It was a great conversation. They had a lot of great input. Those two did. I am happy to report it has been a few days since I recorded that. And since then, I have purchased one of their records on Amazon for like $12. I encourage you to go do the same. I'll leave a link in the comments, and you guys have a great day.